Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 103. Endgame. There were many wounded soldiers lying on the ground and standing by about within the sacred land. Zhi Xiaoduo checked their injuries one by one. Every one of them was injured. Kita's injuries were the most serious as the blood devil had clawed at his chest, and he was covered in blood. Next was Zhou Mokuo, who lay on the ground, unconscious. His body was covered with blood, but when Zhi Xiaoduo got some water and helped wash him, none of the blood was his. Dad. Zhou Wanyuan shook her father. He's all right, Zhi Xiaoduo said. He's still alive, Wanyuanji, don't worry. Fortunately, Zhou Mokuo had been the last one to be swallowed by the Daodi. Dinghai, having eaten so many in the end, was obviously unable to survive and could not digest any more after absorbing too many yaoguai. Zhou Mokuo had kept his whole body when he was spat out, and he was still breathing. He may have a slight concussion, Fengli said after examining him. He needs to be sent to the hospital as soon as possible. Xiang Cheng walked out of the hall. Half his body was covered in dark magical marks that gave off devil chi, and half his body was shining with golden light. Call for the fastest bird. Xiang Cheng said, take them to Chongqing. An eagle flew over and landed on the ground. Chao Bin and Xiang Cheng worked together to tie Zhou Mokuo securely to the eagle's back. Zhi Xiaoduo was bandaging Kita up inside and Kita whispered, no, 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 wait for Fengli to come over. You'll die Wu. Zhi Xiaoduo whispered, is that really okay? Kita patted his chest, motioning that it was fine, and said, come on, do me a favor and cooperate. Zhi Xiaoduo thought for a while and shouted out in an exaggerated voice, Kita don't die ah. Xiang Cheng and Fengli heard it from outside. Go and look at him, Xiang Cheng ordered. Fengli quickly stepped into the hall, and immediately Kita tilted his head and fell into Zhi Xiaoduo's arms. Fengli. Zhi Xiaoduo said cautiously, you'd better have a look. The situation is not very good. Fengli knelt on one knee, and Zhi Xiaoduo laboriously moved half of Kita's body onto Fengli, letting him rest on his thigh. Fengli looked expressionlessly at Kita. Who knew where Xiang Cheng had gone, and Zhi Xiaoduo was sore all over. He stood outside the hall for a while Chao Bin stood behind him. Have you seen Xiang Cheng? Asked Zhi Xiaoduo. No, Chao Bin replied. Dinghai has been dealt with. Zhi Xiaoduo replied, you've worked hard. Yes. Chao Bin nodded, stretched out his hand, and said to Zhi Xiaoduo, thank you, I'm sorry, I have caused everyone so much trouble. Chao Bin, wearing open-fingered gloves, shook hands with Zhi Xiaoduo. Don't blame yourself anymore. Zhi Xiaoduo said easily, there are many things that you can't do anything about. We have never blamed you. They sat down on the steps side by side, and Zhi Xiaoduo said, are you planning on going back to the Exorcist committee? What? Chao Bin was a little confused. After a second thought, he replied, no, I have not been part of the Exorcist committee for a long time now. I was dismissed. Zhi Xiaoduo said, but you have resolved the Dinghai problem, so you should be able to work there again but. No. Chao Bin shook his head and said, entrance into the Exorcist committee depends on family relationships, and the old Buddha has already done her utmost for our Chao family. Zhi Xiaoduo seemed to have never heard Chao Bin mention anything about his family before. He asks curiously, is your family also an old family? Chao Bin pondered a little, and Zhi Xiaoduo hurriedly said, I have offended you. It's fine. Chao Bin replied, in our family bloodline, there are special abilities, which are a little like the blood devils. It's called the rebirth of all, and can make me regenerate continuously. Like Wolverine. Zhi Xiaoduo laughed. Yes. Chao Bin also laughed, and made the Wolverine claws gesture with both hands, explaining, but it's not quite like Wolverine. Wolverine is immortal, whereas we will die. N. Zhi Xiaotuo nodded. Birth, aging, illness and death were natural phenomena. Every regeneration will consume my lifespan. Chao Ben said, so, I should not work in the Exorcist committee in the future. Ah! Zhi Xiaotuo was shocked. So that's how it was. Is your father still around? Zhi Xiaotuo asked. No, Chao Ben replied, this type of ability does not always appear in my family. In many generations, depending on luck, maybe only one person will have it. Every time this ability appears, the bearer will always have a special mission, so I was a little confused. I always felt that there was something waiting for me to do, but from when I was little until now, I couldn't figure out where I should go. Zhi Xiaotuo nodded and said, in other words, your father didn't have this ability, did he? Chao Ben nodded and replied, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. None of them had it, so when I found out that I had the ability to heal myself, my parents were very happy and felt that the Cao family could hold their heads up again. Zhi Xiaotuo. That kind of thing is very annoying. Zhi Xiaotuo said, everyone placing all their hopes on you. Chao Ben smiled bitterly, drank a mouthful of mineral water, and said, then it turned out that it only made mess out of things. Fortunately, you guys were there to clean up the trouble in the end. Zhi Xiaotuo comforted him with a few words, before he heard a quarrel coming from the hall. I'm looking for something for your great king said Xian Hezi. And you need to dig up a pillar to find that. The corpse ghost king was obviously very angry. What are you doing? Xiang Cheng came in. Xiang Cheng had maintained his Akalanatha form. Upon seeing Xian Hezi, wrapped in bandages, holding a Swiss army knife, he figured he must have been digging at the ruby inlaid on the pillar just now. Zhi Xiaotuo. Xian Hezi said, I came all the way here to accompany you guys on a mission. Was it easy for me? You guys are so rich, it won't matter if you give me a little. Can you not destroy cultural relics? Zhi Xiaotuo said, switch to one that's easier to take and just take it Xian Hezi said, you are silly Who can I sell it to after taking it out? Chao Ben saw a little bird fluttering its wings non-stop on the altar, and motioned Zhi Xiaotuo to look. Zhi Xiaotuo carefully picked up Si Gui, and Si Gui began to burn and burst out in sparks. Zhi Xiaotuo, did I let you dig up things in the temple? Xiang Cheng said. Don't fuss. Said Zhi Xiaotuo, he's about to achieve nirvana. Everyone. Si Gui burned with a bright flame, and within the flame, there was the faint shape of a phoenix spreading its wings. A chick appeared in the ashes. Zhi Xiaotuo wanted to reach for it, but Si Gui left them and flew into the mountains lit by the light of dawn. Even Si Gui had left now. At dawn, Fengli came out of the temple, bowed and said, we have looked everywhere, but we can't find the golden arrows. Xiang Cheng was silent as he held hands with Zhi Xiaotuo, and they snuggled together. The left side of Xiang Cheng's body was still dark and exuding devil qi, while the other half of his body emitted golden light. Half of his body had been blackened by the devil seed, but fortunately, the blackened area had not spread any further. It was concentrated only on his left arm. The sun rose and shone on the sacred land. The corpse ghost king, the Kun Lord, and the nine-tailed celestial fox were standing in front of the steps, while the rest of their teammates were outside. What's next? The Kun Lord asked, if there's nothing else, I will go now. Xiang Cheng sat at the top step, looked at the three of them and said, I have been human since I was a child. I have a human family and I grew up with my father. Xiang Cheng said earnestly, my lover is a human, and my mother was also like this once upon a time, she fell in love with a human. When Zhi Xiaotuo heard this, he was so moved that he was about to cry. You put your hopes on me. Xiang Cheng said again, I'm sorry I let you down. The Kun Lord smiled and waved it off, turned into black chi and flew away. It circled in the northeast corner for a moment before entering the water, letting out a roar. It showed its dark back as it dove into the water and left the sacred land. The corpse ghost king opened his mouth and said, "Since you have already decided on leaving, why force yourself to do otherwise? There's just one more thing left that I must tell you." Xiang Cheng looked up at the ghost king. The corpse ghost king slowly stepped up the steps, came in front of Xiang Cheng, and said, "Although the power of the phoenix can help you suppress the devil seed and can keep it from activating in advance, the seed of Mara is still there. The last bit of Mara's power in the blood devil's body has already been sucked in by your great sun will. At this moment, you and Mara are living in conjunction. 3 months from now, on July 15, the corpse ghost king said, Mara will completely occupy your body and complete its cycle of reincarnation. If you can't suppress it then, you will be completely controlled by Mara." "I understand," Xiang Cheng replied. Fengli didn't say anything, and the corpse ghost king continued, "My duty is to protect the sacred land, which has nothing to do with the Yao clans invading or occupying the human world. That's all I have to say." With the clanking of armor, the corpse ghost king jumped out of the temple area, summoned a skeleton horse, and rode back to the corpse ghost palace in the southwest corner. Qi Wei seemed to want to say something, but he didn't speak in the end. He sighed and his teammates came and sat down on the stone steps. The great hall faced southeast, and the sun was shining brightly. Everyone was exhausted, and as they watched the sun rise, they couldn't say anything for a moment. Kita said, "I have to let Beijing know. Things have gotten much more troublesome now." Xiang Cheng said, "What are you guys thinking?" Chao Ben was silent for a moment, and then said, "I can't just give up on such a big goal. I will try my best to solve the problem in Beijing. Anyway, before I officially leave, I have to report back about the thing with Jinghao." Qi Wei said, "My idea is to seal the sacred land back into the mountain, block off the mountain, and seal it." Zhi Xiaoduo asked, "But what about all these Yaoguai?" "There is plenty of spiritual power here," Kita said to Zhi Xiaoduo. "There's also the earth vein. They don't have to eat people to cultivate." Xiang Cheng replied, "They will get out sooner or later. Once they leave the mountain, blood will come raining down once more. I can restrain them for you." Fengli suddenly said, "If you need that." The group turned to look at Fengli. Fengli said, "The blood devil is no more and Wang Lei has fled. Wang Lei on his own is no match for both me and the Ghost King. As long as you can let the sacred land escape the scrutiny of the exorcists, they'll be able to thrive in the mountains. This will be naturally easy to handle." After that, Fengli bowed slightly to Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng looked at Fengli and said nothing for a long time. At noon of the same day, Qi Wei used the map of mountains and rivers. The ancient artifact glowed with a bright light, the mountains and the land moved, and the sacred land sank back into the mountains. The ground shook violently. The power of creation moved the mountains and filled the sea, and the trees collapsed as if they had experienced a mudslide. The external appearance, once this process was complete, was no different from that of before. Chao Ben gathered the exorcists who had come for the mission. They returned to Chongqing to finish the mission, and then returned to Beijing. Xiang Cheng stood in front of the cliff, looking at the mountains and said nothing. "You don't have to follow me anymore," Xiang Cheng said suddenly. Fengli said, "The Ghost King is willing to take over my responsibilities for the time being. In the next 3 months. No." Xiang Cheng turned around and said, "All the Yao of the Yao clans have been left to you." Xiang Cheng looked into Fengli's eyes and said, "I know you have a sense of propriety. You grew up in the human world, and you know what to do and what not to do. The matters of Gagantorura and the sacred land, I will have to trouble you with them." Fengli was silent. Xiang Cheng stood up, took Zhi Xiaoduo's hand, and walked slowly down the mountain road. Lang Dog quickly followed. "Don't follow me, either," Xiang Cheng said, "Go back. Xiaoduo will come to find you." Lang Dog whimpered a few times. Xiaoduo thought for a while and said to Lang Dog, "Go back ba." Lang Dog had to stop, and Xiaoduo rubbed its head and said, "Be good, I'll come back." Xiang Cheng took Xiaoduo down the mountain, and the golden light on his body disappeared into the mountains. Day turned to night, and the off-road vehicle drove along on the mountain road that led to the upper reaches of the Yangtze River. Xiaoduo woke up in the passenger seat. "Where do you think the golden arrows are?" Xiaoduo asked. Xiang Cheng shrugged and smiled at Xiaoduo. Xiaoduo said wearily, "Don't say anything like we still have 3 months to be together." "How did you know that it was what I wanted to say?" Xiang Cheng asked. Xiaoduo looked at the road ahead in a daze. "There must be a way," Xiaoduo said to himself. The morning light glimmered over the stretch of mountains that rose and fell. Under the distant sky, birds were flying towards the mountains of Mount Wu, forming a majestic, spectacular scene. Xiang Cheng drove the car along attentively. It seemed that they were left alone in the world, driving between vast forests and mountains. Human society seemed so far away from them. "I remember you asked me before," Xiaoduo said, "if I would like to return home with you later." N. Xiang Cheng shifted gears absently. Xiaoduo replied, "Actually, I really like it here. When we have time in the future, let's return to the sacred land to live there for a bit ba." "Xiang Cheng, do you like the countryside?" Xiaoduo, "And, although transportation is not convenient. But if you become the big boss of the Yaoguai, I think if we live in the sacred land, it'll still be pretty good ah." Xiang Cheng replied, "I'm just afraid that after I become Mara, I will lose myself completely." "Not necessarily," Xiaoduo said in a trance. "What were the other Maras like? Did they all lose themselves as well?" Xiaoduo sometimes felt that there was no such thing as an obvious dividing line between the Yao clans and the human race. As long as he didn't do anything evil, then even if Xiang Cheng became a big devil made of black chi sitting on the throne of the sacred land, if he became the Yao emperor, that was also fine. He was even willing to accompany Xiang Cheng to live in the sacred land. In the worst case scenario, if Xiang Cheng also turned into a cloud of black chi, then Xiaoduo would also like to become a little Yaoguai, like the blood devil. He would try to see if he could control Mara, to not let it cause any harm to humans or the Yao clans. "Where are we going now?" Xiaoduo asked. "I don't know," Xiang Cheng said, "I'm just driving along randomly. I desire some quiet." "Let's go to Chengdu ba," Xiang Cheng said, "we'll take a break. There are still 3 months left before the Mid-Autumn Festival." Xiaoduo looked at his cell phone, and there was a text message from Chao Ben there. "The arrest warrant has not been lifted. Don't show your faces for the time being. Asterisk asterisk asterisk." 3 days later, in Chengdu. It was now late spring, and the waters of the Minjiang River ran warm. Xiang Cheng and Xiaoduo ate in a small restaurant at the foot of the Dujianjian irrigation project. Xiang Cheng handed Xiaoduo dishes and chopsticks, while Xiaoduo read his notes. "There is a great master who has secluded himself away from the world here," Xiang Cheng said. "Maybe he can answer some of our questions." "Who is he?" asked Xiaoduo. "What are you looking at?" Xiang Cheng looked at Xiaoduo's notebook. Xiaoduo had added notes on the last few pages of the notebook. This was the Yaoguai encyclopedia that Zheng Qin had given him. The dead kun, the yin-yang celestial fox, the black-winged great peng, the corpse ghost king, the spirit of Mount Wu. In less than a year, Xiaoduo had collected almost all the material on them. The spirit of Mount Wu. Xiaoduo hesitated for a moment and looked at Xiang Cheng. "Is my mother?" Xiang Cheng replied, "Humans call her the goddess of Mount Wu." Xiaoduo still didn't understand, and said, "She has been sleeping in the sacred land the entire time, is that right? I think she. Xiang Cheng fell into deep thought and nodded. Zhi Xiaoduo felt that it was fine to record Yao Guai when it came to recording his boyfriend's mother, he sort of couldn't put pen to paper. Xiang Cheng saw that he was hesitating and said, write it? If it involves violating an involved party's privacy, it's better to forget it. Zhi Xiaoduo laughed. Right, boss, Xiang Cheng said, ask me if there's anything you don't understand. Zhi Xiaoduo was very confused. Xiang Cheng thought for a moment and took the initiative to say, Mom's duty was to breed the next generation of Mara with the boss snake. 1,000 years ago, the Kun Lord led the Exorcists in, and they stormed through the sacred land. At that time, Xiang Xian, an ancestor of the Xiang family, shot the boss snake dead and sealed Yaoji. But back then, the yet-to-be-completed Mara was rescued by Fengli and Hu Xiniang's parents. The purpose of my ancestors was to completely eliminate Mara. Xiang Cheng explained, so, they left family instructions, which were carried on in what can be considered a form of reincarnation. After 1,000 years, the heirs of the Xiang family entered the sacred land again to completely take care of this hidden danger. Zhi Xiaoduo said, so, Dad released Mom. N. Xiang Cheng said, after giving birth to me, Mom remembered the past. Most of what follows are only my guesses. She wanted to end this cycle, and I'm afraid that after returning to the sacred land, there was only the seed of Mara but no Mara's body, so the sacred land started to investigate where the boss snake's Hun had gone. But things had already been set into motion, so she couldn't turn back. She deceived the blood devil, and then came back despite the danger to put the seed of Mara in the snake Hun. Zhi Xiaoduo said, what happened then? Then, she left my side. Xiang Cheng said, the Mara seed started to gestate, and I grew more and more uncomfortable. My father and teacher Zhou tried every means, and I think. At that time, my mother must have known. She should have been able to sense it. Zhi Xiaoduo said, I think there must be a connection between her, the devil seed and the Mara's body. Xiang Cheng nodded and said, Zhou Mokuo reported my illness to the Exorcist Committee, and the Exorcist Committee sent people to set a trap to catch her. She felt that my father had betrayed her. That's why she was filled with so much hate. Zhi Xiaoduo closed his notebook and did not speak. Xiang Cheng said, continue to write, Ba. I'm not going to write that. Zhi Xiaoduo shook his head. This was Xiang Cheng's family matter, and Zhi Xiaoduo didn't want it to be recorded there. Xiang Cheng continued, I guess in the end, Mom used a spell to suppress the devil seed in my body so that it wouldn't be noticed by anyone, which is how I survived. That was the time at the edge of the river, at the foot of the cliff. Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Maybe. Xiang Cheng said, she also took the golden arrows away then. But where are the golden arrows now? Zhi Xiaoduo asked with a completely doubtful expression. She didn't return to the sacred land, and she didn't give it to anyone. Could it be that it fell into the river and was washed away by the water? Impossible. Xiang Cheng said, the exorcists must have searched the area, and my father also searched for it. She also wouldn't just randomly toss the golden arrows somewhere. Wait. Zhi Xiaoduo vaguely captured a detail. When she took away the golden arrows. Zhi Xiaoduo said, I remember she said something. Whatever she said was in my memory. Xiang Cheng said, it's not real. Not real. Zhi Xiaoduo said, not understanding. What you saw was the her in my memory. Xiang Cheng said, my impression of what she said that day is already blurry. The rainy night at Mount Ba. At the moment of her death, my spirit was greatly impacted. So I can only say, that it is my last impression of her. Zhi Xiaoduo understood and replied, so that means that what she said was not necessarily what she really meant. Not necessarily. Xiang Cheng sighed and replied, I think she probably meant that, but the words were different. After the waiter brought their food to the table, Xiang Cheng ladled soup for Zhi Ziaduo, and Zhi Ziaduo served Xiang Cheng rice. Zhi Ziaduo kept feeling that he was missing out some point, and this point was crucial. "I want to go back to Beijing for a trip," said Zhi Ziaduo. Xiang Cheng hummed absently, and Zhi Ziaduo said, "Do you remember the task given to me by teacher Zheng?" Xiang Cheng suddenly realized something and looked at Zhi Ziaduo. Zhi Ziaduo nodded and said, "Yes, and what a coincidence it is, isn't it?" Zhi Ziaduo laughed. Xiang Cheng said, "A devil seed, information about the 5 great Yaoguai, and a knife made of the power of the stars." Zhi Ziaduo said, "What a coincidence. This is no coincidence." Xiang Cheng murmured, "He must know something." Zhi Ziaduo let out an N and said, "I'm going to give everything to him. He may be able to help us." End chapter. Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 104. Return. That day after they ate, Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo came to a feng shui shop in a market at the foot of Dejianjian. Xiang Cheng said, "The feng shui master here is very powerful. Before I met you, I made a trip to Chengdu and broke an artifact. He was the one who helped me fix it." Xiang Cheng knocked on the door of a hidden room in a small alleyway. The person guarding the door was a young person holding a cane, and after Xiang Cheng introduced himself, the young person let the two of them in. "Do you often come to Dejianjian?" Zhi Ziaduo asked. "No, Qi Wei introduced this place to me," Xiang Cheng replied. "This feng shui grandmaster has been in contact with the Qi family for a long time. The year before last, there was a period of time where Qi Wei came to Yimei, Qingcheng and the surrounding region to capture Yaoguai. He got the feng shui master's help then. Dejianjian did not have a set location for the exorcism committee, so this small alleyway which sold miscellaneous goods was where the exorcists mingled. They would exchange information here, and would also get news from Chengdu, Chongqing, and the like here. Zhi Ziaduo saw many exorcists, and speaking of which, that was weird, he could already distinguish between them and ordinary people. Many of the people who came and went looked at them curiously. Zhi Ziaduo and Xiang Cheng were each wearing baseball caps with panda ears. They pulled down the brims of their hats, using them as a disguise. There were 2 shops that sold miscellaneous goods. The one to the left sold firecrackers, while the other one sold dried and roasted goods. In between them was a narrow alleyway, which had a long line coming out of it. Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo joined the line. Zhi Ziaduo turned his head. Xiang Cheng was chewing bubble gum, and he automatically leaned his ear close to his lips, asking, "What's wrong?" "So many people are observing us," Zhi Ziaduo said. "I feel like a warrant has been put out for our arrest." "It's all right," Xiang Cheng said. "In a bit, we'll give them a sound beating, and then we'll run away." Zhi Ziaduo began to chuckle, but as he kept thinking about it, he grew a little worried again. If we were to add up all the people here," Xiang Cheng said easily, his fingers twitching a little, even as he continued to chew on his gum, "there's probably about 2 or 3,000. All of them together won't be able to beat your husband." "I wasn't talking about that," Zhi Ziaduo protested. The people lined up behind Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo backed away a little. Xiang Cheng kissed Zhi Ziaduo. "What I mean is," Zhi Ziaduo said quietly, "is this feng shui master one of the exorcism committees? Will he help us?" "He's not part of the exorcism committee," Xiang Cheng replied. "He and the Qi family have a good relationship, and last time, when Qi Wei was at Yimei, he learned of the whereabouts of the Sword of Wisdom from a Yaoguai, and he informed Qi Wei of that." "Oh," Zhi Ziaduo nodded. The amount of people lessened somewhat. Every exorcist that came out glanced at Xiang Cheng, whether purposefully or not. Xiang Cheng pulled the brim of his baseball cap a little lower. "Do you know what I'm thinking about?" Xiang Cheng stood behind Zhi Ziaduo, his arms draped over his shoulders as he spoke into his ear. From time to time, he would also look around. Are you thinking about how to use the layout of the land to your advantage when you start fighting them? Zhi Ziaduo asked. No, Xiang Cheng replied, very quietly. I want to make love to you. Zhi Ziaduo turned his head, and the two of them gently pressed their lips together again. He felt that down below, Xiang Cheng was pressing up against him. It had been a very, very long time since they had done it. The boss snake and the devil seed are both under control, Zhi Ziaduo whispered back. I won't be poisoned, isn't that right? Xiang Cheng replied. Yesterday night, as you were sleeping soundly, I was thinking that in the end, if I was truly unable to become corrupted, then we could rent out a house and shut the door. Without going anywhere, we could do it continually for 3 months. Shh, Zhi Ziaduo said. Don't talk about these bad things. In the future, we'll be together for a long, long time. Xiang Cheng replied, even if we'll be together for a long time, can we do it once tonight? Of course, Zhi Ziaduo replied graciously. We can do it as many times as you want. Really? Xiang Cheng asked, mock seriously. Zhi Ziaduo immediately changed his tune. It must be the kind where you don't overdo it. Xiang Cheng hugged Zhi Ziaduo from behind, quietly humming a song. He rocked left and right slightly, and Zhi Ziaduo felt that Xiang Cheng's thing was so hard that it was about to pierce right through him. What are you looking at? Xiang Cheng said to the seventh person that passed by them, his face cold and expressionless. That exorcist didn't dare say anything. Not long after, a young person came towards them, coming to a stop by their side. The light of spring shines brightly and brilliantly, and these honored guests have come from afar. How can such a humble alleyway afford such esteem? If thou dost not mind the lacking treatment this humble one's master has afforded thou, then please come with this humble servant. Speak intelligibly, Xiang Cheng said. Shifa wants you two to head inside first. Known visitors can cut the line, the young person replied. Zhi Ziaduo. At the end of the alleyway was a courtyard with red cloth hung up on all 4 sides, like a courtyard used to perform plays in. The young person led Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo around the red curtains. Inside, there were even traditional instruments and small drums playing along. After circling around 2 red-clothed tents, they arrived in a dim stall. The young person led Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo in. In the middle of the stall sat a 16 or 17-year-old shaman. His hair was dyed completely blonde, and he had a whole line of piercings down his ears, as well as a lip ring. He sat there lazily, with 3 young people standing behind him. The shaman was holding a stack of talismans in his hand, which he smacked lightly. He gestured at Xiang Cheng to wait for a moment. Let me finish up this receipt first. The young person walked behind the shaman, standing with the other 3 disciples. Zhi Ziaduo. Xiang Cheng gestured for Zhi Ziaduo not to speak. There are so many of you, the shaman said. When the old woman was still alive, you all didn't come to pay your respects, and now that she's dead, you've come to argue over such trivial nonsense. Is there any purpose in doing so? There were men and women sitting separately in the tent. This was evidently a large family, there were 12 of them. One of them hurried to bow and scrape, and they offered up a red envelope, saying, Great Master, please help us out. The shaman opened up the red envelope and glanced inside, before saying, Oh well, I'll summon her once for you all. I don't know if she's even left this plane or not, and if she has, then don't blame me, okay? Okay, okay, everyone said. The shaman fell silent for a bit, murmuring a chant. Suddenly, he shrieked, Wang Zayadai, oh quick, quick, come into my body, come possess me. That greatly startled Zhi Ziaduo. The shaman then began to swing around wildly, crashing into things. His entire body spasmed, and the 4 disciples around him immediately began to ring their bells, shouting, "Spirits of the heavens, spirits of the earth." The entire family began to grow nervous. The shaman spasmed like he had been electrocuted with every step he took, and he walked out from behind the table. His hands kept twitching, and only the whites of his eyes could be seen. He opened his mouth, before he then collapsed to the ground. Zhiziaduo. Zhiziaduo's gaze was filled with questions. Xiang Cheng pressed one hand to his forehead and waved a hand, meaning, "Don't ask me, I also don't know what's going on." When the shaman collapsed to the ground, the 4 disciples began to scatter petals all around them. For a time, they looked exceedingly like heavenly maidens scattering flowers. The shaman then crawled to his feet into a mermaid-like lounge. He placed one hand on the ground, before lifting his head up to skeptically study the people surrounding him. "Ma," the eldest son said first. "You unfilial bastard." The shaman had one hand propped against his waist, while with the other, he pointed at the eldest son. He dashed forward, ready to rip into him. "Zhiziaduo. Don't fight." The young disciples hurried forward to hold that middle-aged person back. The shaman kept lashing out, and after he was done, he sat down on the ground and began to bawl and wail. The descendants all huddled around, holding their heads and sobbing as they kowtowed to the shaman. Zhiziaduo watched this play out expressionlessly, before he tugged Xiang Cheng's hand, meaning, "We'd better leave." Xiang Cheng, however, was a little hesitant, and he gestured for them to wait a little longer. After waiting for half an hour, they finally finished crying and began to talk about the important things. As it turned out, the main problem was that they wanted to ask how many cards were left, and how many accounts there were, as well as how much of the old man's money was left. The shaman gave a series of passwords. Zhiziaduo immediately went bug-eyed, he actually knew. The descendants thanked them profusely and left. The shaman hadn't yet shooed away the soul that was possessing him, but no one was paying any more attention to the old lady. The shaman sat on the ground and cried for a while, before feeling that this wasn't interesting enough, so he slowly climbed to his feet. The disciples hurriedly helped him into his seat. "You're done?" Xiang Cheng asked. The great master sat there for a while and let out a few sobs, before his entire body quivered with a cold chill. He shivered a few times, before his eyes rolled back down, and he went back to normal, coughing dryly a few times. "It's your turn now," the shaman said. With that, Zhiziaduo and Xiang Cheng went and sat down. Xiang Cheng nodded and said, "Great Master Li Ying. The weather's nice, I was thinking that I should go outside for a breath of fresh air," Li Ying said with great difficulty, his voice hoarse, "which is why I had the heavy curtains moved away." Cough. Cough. Zhiziaduo, hello, hello. When Li Ying had given those account passwords, Zhiziaduo had decided that it would be best to err on the side of politeness with him. Li Ying accepted a box of golden throat lozenges, and he ate one, while saying in a garbled voice, "What question do you have to ask?" Xiang Cheng thought for a moment, but he didn't speak. Instead, his forehead furrowed slightly. Zhiziaduo looked to Xiang Cheng for advice, but Xiang Cheng gestured for Zhiziaduo to speak. With that, Zhiziaduo said, "We seek the whereabouts of a certain item." "Oh?" Li Ying asked. "What do you plan to offer in exchange?" Zhiziaduo thought, "We have to offer something in exchange." "I'll pay," Xiang Cheng said, pulling out his black card. But Li Ying took the card reader away, saying, "I can't take your money, both of you are in this line of business, isn't that right? The 3 worlds and the 6 paths require the exchange of things, I only take money from mortals." Zhiziaduo asked, "Can we offer an artifact?" "Anything will do," Li Ying said. 10 years of your lifespan, your important memories, your business fortune for 20 years, your love fortune, your health fortune, the promise that you'll be a vegetarian for the rest of your life. Zhi Ziaduo. Was that how this worked? Zhi Ziaduo glanced at Xiang Cheng, wondering how Xiang Cheng had gotten the artifact fixed last time. Xiang Cheng asked, "Last time, didn't you just take $5 from me?" "Last time was for fixing the artifact," Li Ying said. "All that took was using some egg white to glue it together. The egg was $1.50, and I charged $3.50 for the labor. Any issues with that?" Xiang Cheng. "Can I choose not to eat durian for the rest of my life?" Zhi Ziaduo asked. "Either way, I don't like to eat durian anyways," Zhi Ziaduo thought. Li Ying asked in response, "Do you like to eat durian?" Zhi Ziaduo said, "What if I don't?" "Then obviously that won't do." Li Ying said. "I need to summon a god. If it's not important, that won't work." Xiang Cheng was a little stumped, and he said, "Then, how about you take all of my money? If I get the golden arrows, then I'll liquidate all of my family fortune and donate it all to good causes." Zhi Ziaduo said, "Count mine in as well." Li Ying thought for a moment, before saying, "Sure. Let's get your thumbprints then." Zhi Ziaduo. Xiang Cheng took the cinnabar and said, "Just take mine. Don't take Ziaduo's." The moment that Xiang Cheng pressed his fingerprint to the paper, Zhi Ziaduo was a little uneasy, and he said, "If we can't get an answer, you won't take all of our money, will you?" Li Ying replied, "Of course I won't. Only by summoning a ghost or a god will the talisman come into effect. If I can't summon one, then you won't be able to ask." Xiang Cheng thought for a bit, before he looked to Zhi Ziaduo for guidance. Zhi Ziaduo said, "Press your thumbprint here, ba. Money is an external possession. If they could truly exorcise the devil seed in Xiang Cheng's body, no matter how great the cost, as long as they were both alive, Zhi Ziaduo would be very willing to pay. Money could be gathered again, but if Xiang Cheng died, it wouldn't matter how much money he left to him." At that moment, Zhi Ziaduo truly understood the principle of money is an external possession. Li Ying took the talisman and burnt it over the flames. He then gestured to his disciples, and the disciples respectfully brought a large pill over. Li Ying tossed that pill into the talisman water. In the blink of an eye, the water began to bubble. The grey talisman burned to ashes, and they sank downwards, as if some strange change was happening. What talisman and what hand seals? Those were probably all fake. The real importance lay in that pill. Was it some sort of magical medicinal pill? "What's wrong?" Li Ying asked, looking at Zhi Ziaduo's expression of suspicion. "If you want to ask, then ask. There's nothing off limits here. You can take pictures if you want as well, and you can even post it on Weibo and help me advertise." Thanks to the occupational hazard of being a Yao subduing engineer, Zhi Ziaduo asked curiously, "What did you add into the talisman water?" "An effervescent tablet," Li Ying said, looking at Zhi Ziaduo oddly. "It's lemon-flavored." "What about it?" "Lemon-flavored effervescent tablets," Zhi Ziaduo said. "Are they also materials used to cast this spell?" Li Ying replied, "Nah. It tastes better when drinking it. I have to drink tens of bowls of water every day, and if I keep chugging it like that, that's not comfortable. If I put in some effervescent tablets, I can replenish some vitamin C." Zhi Ziaduo was at a loss. "Tell me, ba," Li Ying replied. "Who should I summon?" Li Ying drank the water, and Zhi Ziaduo asked, "Should he summon Mom?" Xiang Cheng replied, "There's no use in summoning her. When the Battle of Mount Ba began, she had already been corrupted. That stretch of memories exists in her obsession, and once her soul was purified after death, she can no longer remember them." Zhi Ziaduo thought for a moment, before saying, "Then who should he summon?" "Summon Akela," Xiang Cheng said. Li Ying had drunk half a bowl, which he almost ended up spitting back out. "I can't summon him," Don't even think about it. Summon my dad, Xiang Jianhua, Xiang Cheng continued. Li Ying finished drinking the talisman water, and he used a napkin to wipe his mouth clean of the ashes that covered it. He muttered a spell for a bit, before his eyes rolled back. 5 minutes later. I can't summon him, Li Ying said. He's already gone. This answer seemed to be within expectations. Li Ying continued, try a different one ba. Xiang Cheng thought for a very long time, before saying, then might as well try to summon my mother. Yaoji. Yaoji, Li Ying murmured. Zhi Xiaoduo grew nervous. Li Ying muttered a spell for a while longer. I can't summon her, Li Ying replied. She's already returned to the cycles of reincarnation. Can you divine the whereabouts of an object? Xiang Cheng asked. Li Ying thought for a bit, before replying, why don't I help you summon the Jixian instead? If you can't get an answer out of it, then I won't take your money. Xiang Cheng. Zhi Xiaoduo. Li Ying muttered for a while more, before saying, fuck, the Jixian's gone. Zhi Xiaoduo almost fell to his knees. Then forget it, Xiang Cheng said, at the end of his rope. Wait, Li Ying said. Bring his dragon pupil here. I have a way. Zhi Xiaoduo and Xiang Cheng startled at the same time. You can see that I have a dragon pupil? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Li Ying replied, your eyes gone all green, and you've stared at me for a long while now. How would I not know? Xiang Cheng said, there's no need. Let's go. I'll give it, Zhi Xiaoduo said decisively. As long as you can find it, then I'll give it to you. Li Ying replied, if you give it to me, then it'll be mine. I'll search for the artifact for you, I won't need your eyes, only the Yao power in them. If you offer up the dragon pupil in exchange, then we'll have settled the debt on both sides. No way. Xiang Cheng rose. Give it to him. Zhi Xiaoduo said. As long as we can find it, anything is on the table. Xiang Cheng's forehead furrowed. Zhi Xiaoduo tugged at his hand, making him sit down. What is the reasoning behind using the dragon pupil to search for the item? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Tell me first, and only then can I decide. Of course I can't tell you, Li Ying replied. Are you dumb? Zhi Xiaoduo was a little hesitant. Without any more argument, Xiang Cheng dragged Zhi Xiaoduo to his feet. Li Ying replied, if you walk out of here, then don't come back. You two better not regret this. Don't be like this, Zhi Xiaoduo said quietly. Xiang Cheng whispered back, he's a liar. Who are you calling a liar? Li Ying's ears were sharp, he had heard that. Didn't you say you wanted to come? Zhi Xiaoduo was unhappy. Xiang Cheng's expression was one of irritation, but Zhi Xiaoduo continued, might as well try it. The Chai Wen, compared to the dragon pupil that the Chai Wen left to me, I care more about us. You're grasping for straws. Xiang Cheng said. Hadn't we agreed on this when we began? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Don't argue, Li Ying replied. If you have anything to say, say it nicely. Come here and sit down. How about this, I won't take your dragon pupil. Go do your things first, and once you're done, then come back. You can come back at any time. How's that sound? Zhi Xiaoduo went over there and sat down in front of Li Ying. Li Ying said, here, take a divination rod ba. Zhi Xiaoduo started the divination. Xiang Cheng stood with his back to him, and he lit a cigarette. Once entrusted with a task, carry it out as best you can, Li Ying said in reply. 12 words, that's all I have for you. What? Zhi Xiaoduo had vaguely grasped something, but Li Ying indicated that he had nothing more to say on the matter. Instead, he said, you'd best leave. The way I see it, that one of your family is ready to wreck my tent. Zhi Xiaoduo was torn between laughing and crying. He simply rose and thanked him, while Xiang Cheng, with one hand stuck in his pocket and a cigarette dangling from his mouth, walked out of the alleyway with Zhi Ziaduo. What did once entrusted with a task, carry it out as best you can mean? Zhi Ziaduo wondered. Am I supposed to go back to Beijing? The only thing he had been entrusted with was Zheng Qin's, and it just so happened that they had to go back to Beijing anyways. Perhaps with Zheng Qin, they could get some crucial information that would resolve the dilemma they were in. Xiang Cheng walked on ahead. A moment later, he turned his head back and said to Zhi Ziaduo, "Hey." Zhi Ziaduo had just finished arguing with him, so he was a little unhappy. Xiang Cheng tossed the cigarette butt to the ground, and Zhi Ziaduo said, "Why are you tossing cigarette butts around casually again?" Xiang Cheng had no choice but to pick it up and put it into the trash. Zhi Ziaduo walked by him. "Are you angry?" Xiang Cheng asked. Zhi Ziaduo ignored him. Xiang Cheng continued, "I suspect that he's a hack, and he's up to all kinds of nonsense." "And yet you still went?" Zhi Ziaduo asked. "Just trying my luck," Xiang Cheng replied. "I also don't know if he's reliable." "Don't be angry." It was right then that Zhi Ziaduo noticed there were quite a few exorcists in the area watching them, and they had already surrounded them. Xiang Cheng reached out a hand, saying, "Our main enemy is in front of us. Can we set aside our anger for now?" Zhi Ziaduo had no choice but to let him take his hand. Xiang Cheng glanced over their surroundings, before he and Zhi Ziaduo walked towards the people that were surrounding them. Evidently, their backup hadn't arrived yet, so no one dared to stop them. Xiang Cheng was taller than their enemy by a whole head, and he looked down his nose at the other party. The exorcist had no choice but to make an opening and let the two of them through. "Go," Xiang Cheng immediately said. The two of them sped up and ran towards the parking lot. Xiang Cheng drove away, taking Zhi Ziaduo with him as they sent up a cloud of dust behind them. As night fell, they arrived in Chengdu. Xiang Cheng made a call, informing Huan to book them plane tickets. Zhi Ziaduo was still looking through the material, and he was also thinking about what Zheng Qin had told him not too long ago. There were 2 more months and 14 more days until the Zhongyuan festival. Xiang Cheng came over and hugged Zhi Ziaduo, pressing him down onto the bed. Zhi Ziaduo rolled over, lying belly down to look at the Yaoguai handbook. "Are you still mad?" Xiang Cheng asked. "I'm not," Zhi Ziaduo replied disinterestedly. "What day is it today?" Xiang Cheng asked. "There are 87 days left," Zhi Ziaduo replied. 86, Xiang Cheng said, glancing at his phone. "It's past 12. When Zhi Ziaduo heard that sentence, the anger in his heart dissipated. Xiang Cheng buried his head in his shoulder, breathing in the scent of Zhi Ziaduo's neck and body. The backs of his feet rubbed against the bottom of Zhi Ziaduo's, and he said, "Ziaduo, I'm sorry." Zhi Ziaduo turned and hugged Xiang Cheng around the neck, kissing him deeply. "Don't say that." Zhi Ziaduo looked into Xiang Cheng's eyes. Xiang Cheng kissed him intently, and the two of them held each other tightly. Zhi Ziaduo could not help breathing rapidly, and he pulled up the hem of Xiang Cheng's t-shirt. Xiang Cheng eagerly took off his shirt, and he lifted Zhi Ziaduo's shirt as well. In the blink of an eye, their fingers intertwined, and Xiang Cheng kissed Zhi Ziaduo deeply. Zhi Ziaduo extricated his other hand and reached behind him to oil it up for Xiang Cheng. Several times, Xiang Cheng wanted to push his way in, but Zhi Ziaduo gripped his stiff thing and kept stopping him. Xiang Cheng pulled back and thrust back in, as if this was a round of impatient crossing of swords. Finally, Zhi Ziaduo loosened his grip, and felt Xiang Cheng domineeringly enter him. Woo! It hurt so much that Zhi Ziaduo's entire body trembled, but Xiang Cheng was kissing him, and his fingers were trapped as well. As soon as Xiang Cheng entered, his movements mellowed, and he moved very slowly, but he paid careful attention to the reactions all over Zhi Xiaoduo's body. As soon as Zhi Xiaoduo stiffened even the slightest bit, Xiang Chen knew that he was in a bit of pain, or he was in too deep, so he pulled back a little. As soon as Zhi Xiaoduo's breathing evened out, Xiang Chen thrust back in. It wasn't until Zhi Xiaoduo had grown completely used to it that Xiang Chen released his lips. He looked into his eyes, before raining down a storm of thrusts on him. Zhi Xiaoduo cried out loudly several times, his entire face bright red. He lifted his hands up, placing them on his head. Xiang Chen pulled his hands to him instead, pressing them against his own chest. He lifted Zhi Xiaoduo up, bringing him to the floor-to-ceiling windows. Outside, the gaudy night scenery of Chengzi Road glimmered, and the glass reflected their bodies, twined tightly around each other. Zhi Xiaoduo was on tiptoe, and he was pressed up against the glass. He looked at Xiang Chen behind him, while Xiang Chen, through the reflection in the mirror, looked into Zhi Xiaoduo's eyes and said to him, "I love you." "I love you too." Zhi Xiaoduo was about to lose it. Xiang Chen then carried him into the bathroom. He laid a bath towel out on the counter and had Zhi Xiaoduo lie down on it, belly down, with one leg lifted up high. He then had Zhi Xiaoduo turn his head and look into the mirror, where the two of them were joined. "Ah, don't record," Zhi Xiaoduo said. Xiang Chen unlocked the phone and pointed it at the mirror. A whole 4 hours later, Zhi Xiaoduo was exhausted beyond belief. He lay in the big bathtub, his back pressed up against Xiang Chen. The bathtub was slowly filling with warm water, and their bodies were pressed together. Zhi Xiaoduo stroked Xiang Chen's face, before moving in to kiss him. Xiang Chen's upper lip, chin, and the corners of his mouth were covered with inconspicuous stubble, and he kissed Zhi Xiaoduo gently. "Today was my fault," Zhi Xiaoduo said. "I was a little worried." Xiang Chen replied, "Promise me that you won't think about the future." "We will do our best." "As soon as you worry, I feel unbearably unhappy." "Okay," Zhi Xiaoduo said. Xiang Chen picked up the phone that had been placed on the counter, and he said, "Do you want to rewatch that bit that we recorded just now?" Zhi Xiaoduo's face went bright red as he replied, "That's too outrageous, though I really want to watch." "Oh." There was a text on the phone. "Xiaoduo, when are you coming back to Beijing? Gage's gone missing. I don't dare to use my own phone to send you a text. Zhi Xiaoduo." Xiang Chen glanced at it, before immediately making a call to Huangshan. "Change our flight to the first one in the morning," Xiang Chen said to Huangshan. Right now it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and after Xiang Chen took a bath, he immediately packed their things. They headed onto the highway to the airport. Zhi Xiaoduo had Xiang Chen's jacket draped over him, and he slept in the car for a while. Huangshan was waiting for them at the airport, with Lang Dog standing behind him. Lang Dog seemingly wanted to say something, but he also didn't dare to speak. "Lang Dog said that he must go with you," Huangshan said, handing Xiang Chen and Zhi Xiaoduo their ID cards. This humble one could not shoo him away. Lang Dog was wearing a black suit, and he stood off to the side, alone. He was wearing a pair of sunglasses, but Zhi Xiaoduo saw that underneath the sunglasses, there seemed to be tears. His nose was also red, and Zhi Xiaoduo thought to himself, "This is really pushing it." Zhi Xiaoduo glanced at Xiang Chen. Xiang Chen thought for a moment, before gesturing for him to do as he wished. Zhi Xiaoduo then said, "Come with Ba." Huangshan handed out their IDs. Xiang Chen asked, "How is the situation in the sacred land?" "Us brothers have already all moved over there," Huangshan said. "Our kin, who used to live in the Tanggula Mountains, have all come as well." Steward Feng told everyone to stay there first and wait for the great king to come back. The steward was worried, so he had this humble one follow by your majesty's side. Xiang Chen nodded. Huangshan wanted to follow, but Xiang Chen said, "You guys will take the next flight." Why has Chen Zhen gone missing? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. I don't know, Xiang Cheng said to Zhi Xiaoduo as they passed through the security check. I'm not familiar with him. They were stuck at the security gates for a long while, because they kept checking Zhi Xiaoduo's ID card. Lift your bangs up and let me see. Zhi Xiaoduo let the other see, and the security agent didn't say anything more. The two of them entered the departure lobby. Zhi Xiaoduo hesitated over whether or not he should tell Chen Lang, but Xiang Cheng sent Chen Lang a text, telling him that they would arrive this morning, and after they got to Beijing, they would get back in contact. Come, Xiang Cheng led Zhi Xiaoduo into the restroom. Zhi Xiaoduo thought, is there an exorcism committee here too? Upon seeing that there weren't any people here, Xiang Cheng entered a stall and shut the door. Zhi Xiaoduo asked, what's wrong? Is this place? Xiang Cheng hugged Zhi Xiaoduo and pressed him up against the wall to kiss him. Zhi Xiaoduo. Half an hour later, Zhi Xiaoduo was on the verge of fainting before Xiang Cheng, holding his hand tightly, led him out. They sat down on some of the chairs in the departure area. Zhi Xiaoduo's face was bright red, and he was still trying to catch his breath. Sleep for a while, Xiang Cheng said. Zhi Xiaoduo leaned back against the front of Xiang Cheng's body, saying, in a bit, on the plane, you definitely can't. Xiang Cheng, however, was very energetic. He looked at his phone and ended, before replying, depends on the situation. You can't. Zhi Xiaoduo said, his fur puffing up. Okay, Xiang Cheng comforted him. Sleep. Zhi Xiaoduo slept through the entire flight, and it wasn't until the morning, when they arrived at the Beijing terminal, that Zhi Xiaoduo blearily awoke. Suddenly, he saw a person. That was Chen Lang. Chen Lang was currently waiting anxiously for them, and as soon as he saw Zhi Xiaoduo, he gestured at him from afar. Chen Lang came running towards Zhi Xiaoduo, but Xiang Cheng immediately gestured for him not to come over. He looked around, before signing back with 6, and pointing at the exit to the station. Zhi Xiaoduo ran to gate 6, where he and Chen Lang were reunited. He began to gesture at Chen Lang. Zhi Xiaoduo, how many days? Chen Lang, today is the 5th day. End chapter.